Hello everybody, welcome to Snow Talk. This is Wave 3 News meteorologist Brian Good. Everybody wants to know, is it going to snow this weekend or not? We're going to dive into the very latest thinking on this. Keep in mind, this is not going to be something we're going to be able to nail down until Friday at the earliest, and I would say by the Saturday morning model runs we'll have even better handle. I know that seems last minute, but when you have something that doesn't move on shore until the last minute, then you have to go slow with these types of setups. I'll explain. First off, our stats changed slightly with those snow showers recently, so we're 4.8 for the season. That's still about a good inch below normal. Last year, 14.1. On the board, I'm going to keep it still at 2 Twix bars for this Super Bowl Sunday event into Groundhog Day. I do see another wave coming our way on the 5th, and then another one on the 8th through the 11th. So I was looking at stuff, a few days ago, and looking more like the pattern would be less active, and now that the trend is picking up the speed a little more again, so anything warm is looking short-lived the way it's looking now. So overall, February could continue to be a very interesting month for our area when it comes to winter weather. Here's a visible side in space. You can see just a few high clouds streaming overhead, but a clear sky around the region. If you look to the wider view, you can see the snowpack is up here to the north. Illinois, I saw snow up to the north. I was up there working on a story you'll see later in February. And then you see more snow all the way into areas of the northeast. In fact, in the northeast, there's the blizzard pulling away, and you see lots of snow all over the place here in New England that's being laid down from that blizzard. Our system, though, that we're tracking, is, let me zoom the radar out, is way, way over here, south of Los Angeles. It's one of 2 parts. So there's not much out here to go on but buoy data from the buoys themselves or from ships to really go on. And until we get this on shore, and that's not going to be until about Thursday and the parts of Friday. Once it moves on shore, then we can get better data out of this from the upper air, and that will be likely a big shift in models. If there's going to be one, it'll happen at that point. So right now the models are just having fun. They're having fun with what they think is the best scenario, and you're going to see wild solutions. Those of you who follow computer model runs notice the change every time you look at them. They're flipping one way to the other. And that's the reason why. They just don't have solid data to go on until the system moves on shore. So until then, everything is just literally that, guessing and theorizing the setup. But confidence remains low. And it's only one of 2 pieces. The other piece of this is up here to the north. This is a visible satellite, so you don't see the image the sun comes up. It's up here to the north now, moving into Canada. That is the next surge that will also play a role into this as we get into time. Temperatures today, probably our bigger story, though, for us. We're warming up, I think, at least to close to normal values. We should be around 43 this time of the year. And the models do show us climbing very close to that range for this afternoon. And then we'll fall back to around freezing this evening. And then we'll rise overnight. And we could be very close to 40 again when you wake up tomorrow morning. So the coldest period tonight will be just after sunset to about midnight, 1 a.m. And then after that, we warm back up. That is important because our next little clipper, if you will, moving to the Midwest, is going to provide a bit of rain with it. And the concern initially would be that we would not have that warm up in time, and we could see some frozen preset. But now, good data showing that we're going to warm up enough to around 40 in the morning to where this would be light rain if anything did fall, and we would keep that warming trend going throughout the day, close to 50 it looks like. So this clipper for Thursday, not a big deal, but overall, looks mild with temperatures. So as I mentioned, got the southern stream system coming into play as we head into Super Bowl and Super Bowl night. We also have pieces of energy diving to the north. This one is important. This is your cold air supplier. This is your moisture supplier. Got to have both of them if you want a phased storm to develop. The NAO is negative. The Arctic Oscillation is negative to support the cold drop. With the NAO going negative, it does support a storm that will turn, not go out to sea. Question is, the models feed on that sometimes, and how dramatic of a turn upward is going to be the question. I know some of you've seen what looks to be like a Lynx cutter type of turn, and some take it more offshore and then turn it up. That's going to be a debate we'll have to follow as we get a little more data on the system. But when you look at, this is the GFS ensembles. These are all the possible tracks of both streams. And you can see overall, it's in decent agreement that the northern stream is going to dig across the Ohio Valley, and the southern part, the surface flow, would likely track closer to the Gulf of Mexico. There's a few variances here that would change a lot of the values if they go too close together. But I don't think the track is so much the issue as it is speed. What I mean by that is the speed of the southern system versus the northern one. they've got to line up, and I mentioned this last time, they've got to line up at the right amount of speed and track to form the right scenario for us to get a winter storm if that's what you want. If they're off any, one or the other, you're not going to get the exact scenario you're probably going to want. And the models, even small details, can change the speed of either one of those. And that's why we've got to really sample that southern stream system. Until then, it's a guessing game. Canadian. It is really dominant with the northern part compared to the other models. So it really pulls in a nice phase low pressure over the Ohio Valley itself. This is a warm scenario for us. Lots of heavy rain. The heavy snow event will be way to our north. Even Chicago and Toledo would get the benefits of this big snow if that's the case. We warm up with maybe some heavy rain passing through because, again, it's picking up in the northern stream feature being so dominant. And here is the GFS. And it's not so dominant with the northern stream feature. It does speed the southern portion slightly faster, so it gives us a streak of snow, light snow to start with, as we did Saturday night and early on Sunday. And the ensembles overall for the GFS support this being more of a colder scenario than a warmer one compared to what you're seeing there for the Canadian. And this is how the Canadian starts off. To go backwards just slightly because I have these out of order. My apologies. But you can see how the northern stream of the Canadian is so strong. Here's the southern low in Texas. And because it is so strong, that northern feature, it does pull in that warmer air quicker, and that's why it shows a mostly a rain event that does take place. And then it heads off to the eastern seaboard, and when that happens, you start to see quite the snow event for the Adirondacks and the Poconos. For us, we get some backlash snows, but the Canadian is not impressive when it comes to snow. It's more dominant with rain. Here's the New European. Just came in a few moments ago. It is very similar to the GFS, which is scary. But it does show a northern stream feature, not as dominant with it when it comes to moisture, but dominant in the fact that it gives us the cold air. And it does stream out the southern stream system, but you see there is not much of a low pressure that develops out of this. So it's more of a shredded out or a sheared out system that comes through. This would be, for both the GFS and the European, this would be, if I had to put amounts to it, a 1 to 4 inch snow event for Super Bowl. Not a big storm, but a light snow event that could fall for the Super Bowl holiday. If you want a big storm, you're going to have more surface pressures being realized, especially in the southern stream, to really pump in those heavier snow amounts, like the Canadian's doing. But the risk of doing that is the storm goes more north and east, and that's what the Canadian does, and that means more rain than snow. So, I hope that all made sense. Probably didn't, but it is a very complicated setup. There is a very low confidence still in how this is going to play out, so don't get caught up in all the social media posts right now that are going out. All right, don't get caught up in the model runs. Give this time to sort itself out. Let's get a good amount of data on this when it comes on shore in the Southwest by Friday and Saturday, and at that point, we can start getting serious about how the details are going to play out and what we're going to get. So at this point, rain or snow is still on the table, and as I mentioned before, the pattern after this looks active. Cold air still looks to be at play, very cold air in fact, potentially by the 7th of the month. So fun and games are just now starting as we change from January into February. We'll see you today beginning at 5.